The latest developer update from BHVR has some huge implications for us Singularity mains. So as some of you may know, one of my goals in Dead by Daylight for the community is for the Singularity's pick rate to go up. I want his pick rate to be 2% at least, and this patch just might do it for us. Alright, Singularity, medium update? Bitch, it's not medium to me, this is the biggest update ever. So, before we get into it, I had a few things that I wanted for Larry, and they did that and more. They answered wishes for Singularity that I didn't even know that I had. So, from the top, let's go. Taking control of a Biopod will now cause it to aim at the nearest survivor within line of sight. This is really quality of life. I think that the main thing this is making the Singularity more accessible, making him more time efficient, because even though like a good player will lock on pretty quick, just to be a little bit faster will pay off in some situations. But for me, the biggest thing here is that this would probably make him easier to play on controller or on console. The camera controls in DBD on controller are not very good, and I can't imagine how people play Larry on the Switch. The game runs at like 30 frames per second, and I can't imagine people playing Larry on the Switch. So, just a nice quality of life update. After a quarter of a second, targeting progress now decays over the next 0.5 seconds. So this means that if you track a survivor with the camera and it only charges up partway through and you lose sight of the survivor, they'll lose some of that target progress. Now, I think this already is in the game, but it's maybe not that fast. Like it seems to take a while to go down. So this is nice. This means that you get rewarded for a survivor. You get rewarded for breaking line of sight, even just momentarily. When controlling a Biopod, survivors now only glow if they can be targeted. If they're glowing, they're within range. If they're not glowing, they're not within range. I like that. Decreased Biopod targeting cooldown after slipstreaming a survivor to 3 seconds was 3.5 seconds. So this means that after you're on a Biopod and then you tag a survivor with a blob, or also known as slipstreaming, it cools down faster so you can do it again. So this means that, you know, you can act faster when it comes to either tagging a second survivor or tagging the same survivor again to teleport to them. It's just a little bit faster. Improved UI when using Biopods and when shooting with the killer. I imagine this will change the little crosshair. Maybe some of the other UI elements with the Biopods, but when you're shooting, I'm assuming they just mean the crosshair, because it can be very misleading, as you've seen. Like, sometimes it'll show blue, it'll be blue, but then you'll shoot and you won't get a Biopod. Or it doesn't really indicate. The reticle will turn red if you cannot shoot a Biopod there, but it doesn't indicate if it's because it's a bad placement, or because there's another Biopod that's too close already, or because it's out of range. So maybe this UI change will actually adapt a little bit to give better information. New, added the ability to destroy the currently controlled Biopod. This is really good, because sometimes when a Biopod is disabled, you just want to destroy it and replace it. But that means that in chase or whatever, or like whatever you're doing, you have to shoot it twice, which can be, you know, that's attention you can place elsewhere. So if I can just control a Biopod and then pop it, and then when I walk by, I can place a new one and not worry about it. This will make it easier to control your Biopods, because you only have a maximum of, what, 7? Like, I play Larry and I forgot how many fucking Biopods you get. I think you get 7? And sometimes it's hard to control which one will disappear when you create a new one, because like you don't have the time to run over to every Biopod and destroy them to maintain the ones that you want to keep. So this makes it way easier to maintain the Biopods that you want to keep by destroying the ones that you don't want to keep. Change, the killer can now hear audio by default when controlling a Biopod. This was either a common or an uncommon add-on before, and now it's just default. I'm into it. The killer now receives Killer Instinct when a survivor is slipstreamed. So there's a purple add-on that shows that it highlights a survivor's aura when they are slipstreamed, which is nice when survivors slipstream each other. This is kind of like a soft version of that. So if two survivors come in contact and one of them slipstreams the other one, you'll get a Killer Instinct notification of that, which is really good. It's just free information. The last controlled Biopod has its aura revealed in yellow for 10 seconds, was 5 seconds. I think this is nice. This can be really difficult on maps where everything looks the same, or like if you're on the game, for example, and you're in a room and you switch to a Biopod, sometimes it's hard to tell what part of the room you're at. Like it's already hard to orient yourself on that map because every room looks so similar that when you're switching perspectives and teleporting all over the place, sometimes it's easy to get lost. So this kind of thing would help you like keep track of things by just having a point of orientation. Like, okay, That yellow pod is where I was just looking. This is where I am now looking. I can figure it out. New! The Singularity gains 3% haste while in overclock mode. Fuck yes! So in its current iteration, Soma Family Photo gives a 5% haste during overclock. It also reduces the duration of overclock by 20%. Instead now, we get a 3% base haste in overclock mode with no reduction of the overclock duration. So we basically got base kit haste, which is awesome. This is something that a lot of Singularity players ask for, but nobody's asked for base kit Soma Family Photo because it's a little bit strong for 5%. 5% is a little bit too strong, but vanilla like base speed also feels unrewarding and too easy to play against sometimes. Like sometimes it takes way too long to catch up to a survivor because of all the steps you have to follow. I have to infect the survivor. I have to shoot a biopod, have the biopod be the right place, switch to the biopod, infect the survivor, catch up to the survivor, shoot the survivor again with my gun, teleport to the survivor, now catch up to the survivor again, but I'm at regular speed with some buffs. So that 3% haste will help close that gap and reduce the amount of time it takes to win a chase. That's why everybody runs Soma Family Photo, because it serves that great purpose of shortening your chases. So this is great. Removed. Overclock's duration no longer scales to the number of slipstream survivors. So this is a feature that I didn't even know he had for the longest time. I only knew about it because Phoenix Teru made a great video where she measures how much time, she shows the difference of time between each stage of slipstream survivors and how different it is between 1 and 4. And now that's completely overhauled, so there's only one duration, it's 5.7 seconds. Which is awesome because, again, sometimes if you're not aware of this feature, sometimes it feels like your overclock is ending too early, and now it'll always be the same duration. I know, unless there's any add-ons that change it. I don't know, maybe they'll keep Soma Family Photo and keep this feature and maybe reduce the haste on it. I don't know. They haven't said what they're doing to the add-ons yet. So to have it be the same duration every time, again, just makes the killer easier to handle. Stuns caused by perks during overclock mode will now cause overheat. So overheat, I'm assuming, is when somebody pallet drops you during overclock and then you just get slowed but you're not stunned. So this means that if you get head on or blast mine, that's all that happens, which is awesome because if you are in overclock, you get faster kick speed. So you kick a gen, often you can kick a generator and then continue chasing the survivor because you've wasted no time kicking. So I can kick a fucking gen, get blast mined, and then it'll just slow me. And then I can kind of it's not as punishing as getting stunned full on. I've never been head on during overclock, so I didn't even know that head on still stuns you. Added an aim assist effect to shooting a slipstream survivor. I'm not sure how this is gonna feel. I don't really know. Does any other killer have aim assist? I don't think so. I don't even think Trickster has aim assist. No, he doesn't. I also hope this is optional or I don't know. Again, this is probably there to help console players. I don't know if I'm gonna like this as somebody who plays with a mouse and keyboard. Increased an aim assist when creating biopods. When attempting to teleport to a survivor or place a biopod, a slight change could cause your shot to miss or become an invalid spot for biopod, causing it to do nothing. We've improved the aim assist to linger slightly longer on the last valid place or slipstream survivor. See, this means that there was already an existing aim assist at some point, so I don't know. I don't really know how I feel about this. And sometimes you want to make some unorthodox shots. Maybe you need to aim slightly off of a survivor and then you expect them to move in that direction so you can thread the needle and shoot in a tough spot. So I don't know if this is gonna mess with that at all. We'll have to find out in the PTB or whatever. Okay, this is something that I've kind of asked for in a different form, but they've given it to me in a form that I think is fair and probably better than my form. So when it comes to EMPs, what I wanted was EMP printing speed to scale with the number of active EMPs. What that means is that in my ideal version of this, the EMPs would print slower if more survivors were holding EMPs already. But their update is really good. The update is passive EMP printing at supply cases is now passive EMP printing at supply cases is now limited to 97%. The remaining progress must be done manually by a survivor. So what this does, it's like how when you're slugged, you can only heal to 98.7, I guess, 95-ish, and then a survivor has to pick you up right away. A survivor needs to pick you up for 2 seconds. So this means that it's harder to pick up an EMP mid-chase, whereas right now, it's pretty easy to. If you get hit, if you get sprint burst, if you get a balanced landing, a lot of people will run into a tile, just grab an EMP, and then you have to fucking play around that, and it can be really obnoxious. Supply cases that have reached the passive printing limit will have their auras revealed in yellow. This is nice. This is really nice for survivors because they know the difference between a case that is not ready and the case that is ready. Disabled biopods will pulse shortly before they are reactivated. So when a biopod is down from the EMP, it'll, I guess, flash, or maybe it'll make a noise shortly before reactivating. That's nice too. Again, info for survivors to help them counterplay. Super good. I'm into it. Decrease the aura reading range of supply cases to 28 meters from 32 meters. Okay. Decrease range of 8 meters to 10 meters. Okay. Not a huge difference, but I didn't really feel like this needed to be nerfed, but whatever. This might make it really hard and like a scenario where the singularity is watching a generator or like a gate, where you just put two pods far away from each other that are looking at the same objective, and survivors might have trouble dealing with both of those pods simultaneously. Decreases immunity to slipstream after using an EMP to 0.35 seconds from 2 seconds. There was one video I had, I'll put the clip up here, where a survivor just EMP'd, but I guess they didn't EMP the pod that I was looking at them with, and the pod finished the charge and then it shot a pod, but the survivor didn't actually get slipstreamed. I just shot a pod at them. Got her ass looking like fairy tales. Got her ass looking like Peter Pan motherfucker. Oh wait, I didn't even check what I had. I had fucking what? Didn't I just scan you? Huh? What? So this wouldn't happen anymore because now the immunity only lasts like a quarter of a second, like just over a quarter of a second instead of 2 whole seconds. So it's less likely to happen. This will come into play this will not really come into play very often, because typically if a survivor is getting EMP'd, usually any biopods around them are probably getting hit by that EMP. Sometimes, you know, if you have one that's really far away or whatever, it's not going to happen, but yeah, it's just a cool quality of life thing so that you don't get punished. Like, you're already getting punished for EMPs. The fact that, like, they disable your power, they disinfect the survivor, they disinfect multiple survivors. Like, it's already pretty bad. They don't need to have a 2-second immunity on top of that, especially when nobody really knows it's there, so it's really hard for the singularity to play around. So yeah, I'm glad that was nerfed. Well, not nerfed. The invincibility was nerfed. The singularity is being buffed. He's getting buffed the fuck. He's getting, like, Trickster, Huntress, fucking Bubba treatment out here. Holy shit. He's getting hillbilly treatment out here. Almost. I would call it... Yeah, I'd call this, like, almost as crazy as the hillbilly buff. Reduce the time it takes to switch back to the singularity to 0.5 seconds from 1 second. This is humongous, man. This is like how the twins got the buff to switch speed. It doesn't punish you as much for switching between Victor and Charlotte. They reduce the time it takes to switch back to the singularity when near a hooked survivor to 1.5 seconds from 5 seconds. So the singularity has an anti-camp feature where when he's near a hooked survivor, everything is slower. If he scans somebody who's near the hook, it takes 1,000,000 years. I don't know, it's like 10 seconds or something. I don't fucking know how many seconds. It feels like 7 seconds or something. If you switch back to the singularity because you want to walk away from the hook or whatever the fuck, it takes 5 whole fucking seconds. It's like, okay, I'm trying to leave the hook. Why are you punishing me? Let me fucking leave the hook. So instead it's 1.5 seconds, which I think is completely reasonable. It's barely just over his base speed. You'll barely notice the speed. So yeah, amazing. And then updated various add-ons, which we'll see later. But yeah, I'm super excited. And what I really hope for this is that it'll encourage more people to try the singularity, and hopefully it'll make him easier to play for a lot of people, especially people playing on console. I really do care about accessibility in this game. This game should perform well for everybody. It should control well for everybody. And in its current iteration, it just does not. There are certain characters that are way too hard to play on console, not only just due to controller support being kind of iffy, but also because of like performance as well. Like if you're playing this on PS4, the game runs like shit. Like that's all I can say. The game runs like shit, and like certain killers are so hard to use. So I'm down. So also apologies for the lack of DBD content lately. I've just been kind of burnt out on making it. Like I have like a bunch of half-finished videos and I just can't seem to finish them. Like I'm halfway through and I'm like, this isn't good. Like, this isn't entertaining. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. Like, it's not that I don't know what I'm doing. It's like, I need to impress myself when I make content. And, like, sometimes with DBD, like, I just don't. And I just need time to work on it. And I've been too fucking busy with work and shit like that. So, I am working on shit. It's just going to be less frequent than it was before, when I had a lot more time to put shit out. And I was only focusing on DBD content. As you've seen now, I'm making like this XCOM series. I'm putting out some other games that I've been playing. Just experimenting with the channel because I don't want to just be a DBD channel. But yeah, this makes me super happy. I can't wait to see it in a PTB. We'll definitely try it out, and I really hope this makes more people try the Singularity. Thanks for watching as always. This is Doinko signing out. Have a good day, nerds. Give me your fucking jeans.